guys, welcome to another show, GFC podcast. Today, I would like to speak on a number of topics. One being Ayanla and her interview, the Beckhams, Tyrese, the terrorism situation, and Kai Cenat. So, I saw a snippet of the Ayanla interview where she was speaking on the relationship with her daughter and not being invited by her grandson to his mother's funeral, which is her daughter. And this is one of those topics I would really like to delve deep into, but maybe another time. So I'm aware of Ayana's situation with her daughter because she has talked about it openly for years. And just being a person such as myself from the outside looking in, um, based on what Ayana has spoken on, it appears it could have been a situation where she was hard on her daughters. I have taken into consideration that Ayanla was a working mother who was also going to school while raising her daughters. And if I'm not mistaken, or correct me if I'm wrong, it was mentioned by Ayanla that she was in abusive relationships as well. Um, so I'm sure her daughters witnessed a lot and experienced a lot. In general, what I have noticed about Ayanla throughout the years is that she appears to be harsh on women versus the men, and or like sometimes she appears to be selective on who she's hard on. And this kind of concerns me because oftentimes African American women, because of our circumstances, have a tendency to overly protect the men in our community and be more lenient towards them versus the women um, when things actually should be balanced. Favor shouldn't be placed uh, on one gender versus the other. It should be balanced, you know. Um, but my condolences goes to Ayama's daughters and their bodies because of what they had to go through health wise, which is what I'm sure led to their early demise. If I'm not mistaken, one daughter she passed away due to cancer, and the other one due to diabetes. And with these diseases, it could be both. It could be stress related. Some it's been mentioned that it's genetics, but cancer and diabetes could come from stress as well. But my heart really goes out to those two women. They're no longer here, but they have children, which is Ayama's grandchildren. Now, getting back to Ayama's interview, Ayama said something in this interview that was extremely chilling. Um, because of her, I guess her grandson didn't want her at the funeral, at his mother's funeral. And instead of her being understanding, it appeared in the interview that she came off passive aggressive and was throwing her grandson under the bus. I think she said something to the extent of that he was crazy or weird, um, because he didn't want her there. So she said something to the extent of him, being like loony or something. Instead of her just saying he didn't want her there, she goes on to call him names. So I think Yama, she just should have kept it at that, and said that, hey, he didn't, my grandson didn't want me there, and that was fine and so forth. But then she went on to start calling him names. I'm on his side, the grandson's side. Um, because I'm sure he picked up on some things about her that wasn't right and saw how she treated his mother. And I'm all for it. I'm all for the youth calling their parents out. Because oftentimes the wrongdoing goes on for years and years, and it isn't checked on. Um, it isn't checked. And we've always been taught to respect and honor our parents despite being abused. And if we speak up, this was used as a weapon against us. But it goes both ways. You, as well as the parents, have to respect and honor your child. It's no one-way street. It's a two-way street. So I'm glad for that young man standing up to honor, his mother. And Ayala, she shouldn't have called him out like that. She shouldn't have been calling him names. Um, so that was a bit concerning. Now moving on to the Beckhams, I am going to keep this one short. In the case of Brooklyn and his wife, you do have situations where the new wife comes in and disrupts things and tries to cause division and forges a wedge between her husband and his tight knit family. This could be Nicola. Now, on the flip side, it could be a situation where Brooklyn's parents are trying to control him, and his mother could be jealous of the new wife. It also could be a situation where the Beckhams could be jealous of how much more money the Brooklyn's wife family has. Overall, it could be a situation where Brooklyn's parents can see the cola chick is no good for him, and can see she has ulterior motives. It's just a sad situation overall. I do think though that Brooklyn maybe should have put out a different statement via his Instagram that could have just simply said, "Hey guys, like any family, we go through things and are attempting to work on it." Um, I felt like he should have. I felt like he shouldn't have put all that out just yet. Of what was going on with his family. And though I'm a person that believes in expression and think that people should be able to come out and speak on matters that concern them, I just think that he should have waited. I do understand that when it comes to celebrities and things of that nature, they have people that are close to them, whether it's family, friends that probably just don't want to listen. But obviously, he is a child of the public, of public parents that are public figures. And from what I see, it seemed like he's mentioning that they trying to create a narrative out to the public. So obviously, he came out to the public and wanted to clear some things. So it's very understanding when celebrities want to come out and share their side of the story to the general public. Um, and so that's something that I have taken into consideration. But I think with him, I think that he should have kept, the statement short and simple and just said that they're working on things. And then if things got, and who knows, it probably could have gotten to a breaking point. But I was going to say, eventually, a couple of months down the road, if things just weren't uh, going the best, maybe he should have then put out a statement, a more detailed statement of what was going on in his family. But I just think that he should have waited a little longer to put that much of detailed information out to the general public. Um, but yeah, I like that they were a tight knit family, and David Beckham has been with Victoria for some years, and they have beautiful kids. But overall, what this has shown us is, despite people being or having tons of money, no matter who you are and how much money you have, we all have problems. And money, depending on the situation, doesn't get rid of it. Um, so the next topic is that of Tyrese, and I did see where someone was doing some commentary on Tyrese and how he comes on to the internet and cries a lot and talks about people not being there for him. And this is another topic that is just, it's a layered topic that requires a lot more time. I'm going to provide a brief statement on this. What I will say is that in regards to Tyrese, If he is a giving person, that's understandable, especially as it relates to family. Well, what I do want to state is that Tyrese, when it comes to the women he has involved himself with, and if this is what he's crying about on public platforms, Tyrese has gotten himself in this situation on his own. Because while he was throwing shots at black women and talking about how the women he were with, who were actually not black women, but if I'm not mistaken, were mixed or non black women, he was coming on to the internet saying that he had a black queen and things of that nature. My assumption is that he was throwing shots at black women. And so, what I want to state is that I do not feel sorry for him in any shape, form, or fashion. Because I think that Tyrese is a representation of a lot of black men, a collective of black men who get with these women for aesthetics. They get with them because of how they look. And this is why our community is suffering the way that it is, because a lot of African American men or black men, they have a tendency to pick women, choose women, be with women, and form families with women, not based on her values, not based on her ethics, not based on the values that she has that she could pass down and teach to the children, not based on her cultural values. They get with these women and it's all about looks. And this is why our community is suffering the way that it is. This is one of the many reasons why our community is suffering the way that it is. So he could cry all he wants to, but he put himself in this situation in regards to the women that he had children with that seen him nothing more than money. That's all they probably saw was the money. And this is what he appears to be crying about over and over again. Well, you chose them, and that's the woman that you chose, and now you're crying over the internet regarding the women who didn't possibly love you for you, but only love you based on what they could get from you. And now you're trying to come to the internet and cry to the black community about a situation you placed your butt in. And this is the problem. Again, instead of them choosing women that are going to do right by the children, that are about have a value system, morals, ethics, they're going to choose women. They're not probably ain't going to really get to know her and her family. They're going to get with her based on how she looks and if she's pretty and things of that nature. And that is such a backwards mentality to have. And a lot of men in the black community have this type of mentality. And so I want to leave it there. That's just something I just want to speak on regarding Tyrese. Again, I don't feel sorry for him. And I think that a lot of African American men share the same sentiments and mentality that he has. And this is why another reason why our community is the way that it is. So my next topic is the tenderism. The tenderism guy. Y'all. Good Lord. Here's what I will say on this situation briefly. The tenderism guy, I think his name is Walt. He is older and appears to have a certain mentality. The owner of Smokehouse revealed his, I think, he revealed his true colors after the Keith Lee situation. After he came out of there, attempted to give Walter $5,000, and the owner of the Smokehouse restaurant rejected it. Told him that he couldn't get the $5,000. So number one, he should have allowed Walt to get the $5,000. Number two, he should have been happy for Walt, especially since his social media presence was possibly or could have possibly brought in more business to the restaurant. The Keith Lee situation showed an envy and jealousy he has, and as you all know, I'm against envy and jealousy. Once you see a person that's envious and jealous of you, you need to get far away from that person. People like this are never happy for others and they can be extremely dangerous. Number three, he should have, in general, made sure Walt is and was taken care of because of his age. After the Keith Lee situation, he could have looked at it from a perspective of, okay, Walt is bringing in more business for our restaurant, so I'm going to make sure he's taken care of and he gets his fair share. Y'all, I cannot stand wrongdoing. Um, I hate it with a passion. And so I just, overall, looking at the situation, it just seems like he, after this notoriety from the Keith Lee situation, it's like he, instead of him using that moment and embracing it and saying, hey, this is going to bring you more money, this and that. I mean, everything just went downhill from that. And he showed his true colors. It appears that after the Keith Lee situation, they tried to get rid of Walt and change the narrative. And I thought that this in itself was very interesting because Walt didn't even do anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong, but they tried to make it appear that he did something wrong, and it just showed on the camera when all the backlash happened. It showed on camera via the interview um, that was done for they interviewed the owner, and just the dynamic of the conversation was very. It appeared there was some aggression towards Walt. He didn't want him to talk. It was just really off putting. But overall, it just appeared that they made it appear that Walt did something wrong. So I mean, I think people that have been in these type of dynamics, you kind of see through it and you kind of know what's going on. And so those who know, and that's all I'm gonna say. Upon looking at the situation. Number four, the other thing that was telling was that the owner tried to trademark the name. So that showed that he went behind the guy's back, Mr. Tenderism, and tried to take the name from something that he was using to bring business to the smokehouse owners, the restaurant. So that was very telling that he would go behind his back and do something like this, try and take the guy's name that he'd been using. If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Tenderism is the African American guy, Walter, who was on social media marketing the business and things of that nature. Through social media. And the Caucasian guy was the owner of the business. Not necessarily named Tenderism, but he was the owner of the overall business, Smokehouse. Mr. Tenderism was a name that he used on social media. So two separate things. Now it's been mentioned that a lawyer did trademark the name, and I think he should hold on to it to pass down to Walter's kids if he has any kids or grandchildren. In conclusion, I know that Walt doesn't want no smoking or issues, especially with him being his age. But I think he should move on and find another restaurant to work for. Now that his name has been trademarked by the attorney, um, he needs to move on elsewhere and work for someone else. I'm sure the owner has sweet talked him, but this was only after public outrage to come back. But if I was Walt, he should just take this as a warning sign and move on. And the final topic I want to speak on is the Kai Cenat situation. And this is another topic that I would like to spend more time on. The Kai Cenat situation and his girlfriend. If I'm not mistaken, him and his girlfriend broke up, and then there was something where they tried to connect and be a young boy with his ex girlfriend. I don't know her name, but one of the things that I noticed in regards to this situation, and it really upsets me, which is why I want to speak on it, because it's an issue, an ongoing issue within our community, and it's in regards to the jealousy that takes place between couples. From what I'm observing, this based on, as an outsider looking at this situation with Kai Cenat and his, I guess she's his ex girlfriend now. It looks like individuals didn't want her with him, or vice versa. They didn't want them to be together. Now I don't know who that is. Maybe it's his business partners. I'm not sure. But from what it looks like they didn't want these two individuals together. Also, it's looking like his friends didn't want them together. And it there tends to be within our community, and it could happen in other communities, but when you just see the single family parent homes, women having to do a lot of things by themselves, the divorce rates, um, the lack of couples in our community. This is one of the reasons of that. And you have people that try and tear other people's relationship apart. They see them happy. They see that, money is involved. They see that you're spending more time with the individual versus them. And they don't want that. And they want to split you up or come in between you all. And that's what it seems like is taking place with this Kai Cenat situation and his ex girlfriend. Seems like it's a situation where friends, and I've seen it. The young lady's come out and said it. She said, "Well, it appears that his friends are jealous and envious of us, and they don't want us together." And the guy, one of Kai Cenat's friends, even came out and said that he glad that they broke up. So this is just he might have to watch out for his circle, because anytime someone doesn't want the best from you, there's no I'm sorry, the best for you, there's no telling what they can do. And this is another sign of jealousy. And like I said, jealousy and envy is extremely dangerous. So if you with these guys and they don't want the best for you and they don't want to see you happy with this girl, what does that say about the people that you're hanging around with? What else are they going to do? You know what I mean? Why don't they want to see you happy? I mean, you even see this going on with Will Smith and his wife Jada. What's the guy name? You could just see that people don't want them together. They trying to do things to come in between him and his wife. You know, during the Oscars, he stood up for his wife, and then you're saying that people are coming out saying that, oh, well, Jada's this, Jada's that, and they didn't want to see Will Smith with her. And I mean, it's just this ongoing situation where people can't be happy for other people who are in relationships. And I just think that this is what's going on with the Kai Cenat situation. His friend literally came out and said that he's happy Kai Cenat is not with her anymore. It's jealousy and envy. They don't want to see that guy with that girl happy. And now it appears that he's having some mental health issues in general. And it could be from that, or it could be one of the reasons why he's having some personal issues in his life that's affecting his mental health. But I mean, this is something to take into consideration. This is just something I want to briefly touch on. And there's an issue with people trying to come in between couples within our community. They don't want to see you happy. You got homeboys that are trying to set their friends up because they don't want them with the woman. So these are just some of the topics that I want to touch on. And I would say, in regards to if you're in a similar situation like this, let it just be with about you and your girl. If you sense that you have friends that are jealous of your relationship, you need to get away from them. You need to surround yourself with people who are in healthy relationships. People that are going to give you good advice on keeping and maintaining your relationship. That's some sick behavior and a sick mentality for you not to be happy for someone who's in a relationship with someone just because you don't have it. I mean, look at Russell Wilson and Sierra. Look at the amount of disrespect he gets from other African American and black men, calling him a simp, all because he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, which is providing for his family and respecting and honoring the woman in his life who bore him his children. And he's taking care of her. He's protecting and financially taking care of her. And the amount of disrespect that they get, the amount of disrespect that he gets, it is extremely concerning. And this is another thing that's harming our community. Like, why would you not be happy for this? Hmm? Instead, he's consistently disrespected. And instead, his family is consistently disrespected because he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, and he's positive. So that says a lot about the African American men as a collective within the community. Their mentality towards women, their mentality towards family, their mentality towards children, which is negative and detrimental and divisive and concerning. And that's why I named my podcast God Family Community, God's Family Community, because this needs to be the focus. The mentality of a lot of African American men is not positive as it relates to family, community, and children. It's very negative. It's very destructive. And so, like I said, when you see someone that's in a positive relationship, or if you have a relationship, and I would suggest that you surround yourself with other people who are in positive relationships, who has respect and honor for their significant other. Not someone who's out there cheating on their significant other and they want you to join them. Like, get away from those type of people. And it's just too much of this foolishness going on in our community. Surround yourself with good people and surround yourself, if you're in a relationship, surround yourself with other families who are in positive, loving relationships. And so that's all I have to say. This is God Family Community Podcast. See y'all on the next one.